2018, I was accused of a serious crime. I decided to look for legal assistance. I came up on Mr. René's website and looked at his work, his background, his reviews, and I felt that he was a strong lawyer, and decided to hire him for representation. I had fear of losing everything. I lost friends. I lost my fiance. The neighbors in my subdivision looked at me different. He made me feel comfortable. He made me feel confident about his work, about his representation. I was amazed by his work, by his team, how dedicated they were to this case. After Mr. Flores proved my innocence, I felt great, relieved. I'm truly grateful for Mr. Flores being able to get me out of this situation. I would recommend it 100% to anybody who asks.
And so they got married, and
well, he went into the army. He enlisted in the army, so he was gone, and I think he was in Korea for several years. And then they would, keep in touch through letters and pictures and all that. And
so, what, you were born in the 70s?
I was born in San Antonio.
In San Antonio,
because at that time, my mom and my dad. Well, my dad's a daredevil. I don't know if you know anything about my dad, but he was kind of a Dennis the Menace growing up. Okay, so. He loved dirt bikes and motorcycles, and so they were always out here at the levees. Yeah. And apparently one day, I'm not sure if it was my cousin Memo, which Memo.
I know Memo very well.
I think he dared him.
He's also a musician.
He's a musician, which was also a big inspiration for me growing up, because I would go see them practice. And so I guess him and my other cousin Ruben, which they call Chupao, they dared him or something like that. To do something, and he went over a cliff and broke his legs to his knees.
Holy
he
moly.
broke his legs, and so then after that they were trying to get help, and so they couldn't find it here. So my mom says, well, let's go back to San Antonio, and my mom was just about ready to have me. Wow. And so then the story goes that I was born at the Bexar County Hospital. And my parents didn't have money back then. So my dad says, Mija, you know how much it cost? $5. So they just paid $5 to take me out of the hospital. Yeah.
So then you were born, and you all came back from San Antonio to Mercedes?
In San Antonio, and then I think they stayed there for a while, and then moved back to the valley. But my dad couldn't find work. So I remember at around 3 years old, my parents moved to Waco. And he went to school there. He was taking like a TSTC, kind of a welding course or something. And once he did that, because we have a lot of family in Dallas, Texas. And my tios were like, ándale, vente pa acá, hay mucho trabajo. So we went to Dallas and lived on the west side in the Ledbetter areas, where I lived for 5 years.
Wow.
And puro barrio. Like, that's the hardcore barrio right there. But, we were always... we were always around my uncles, my aunts and uncles. And
there was unity.
Every weekend. I mean, it was like, who's going to make menudo this weekend? And they'd play cards and, sacaban la guitarra. And
isn't that awesome?
Yeah. I miss those times.
Ya no son los días así, ¿verdad?
No, not really.
Yeah.
And vamos a main event. Let's take the kids, it's like...
But back then, it's like the families would get together. The families were big too, and very united. And
there'd be a bunch of us. And I remember the kids. We didn't have trampolines or anything. I mean, we'd just play hide and seek or tag. Just
red light, green light.
There you go. Simon says, whatever. We just had a blast, And of course, the adults would be inside jamming out to Tejano music and eating menudo or whatever,
And nobody was on a cell phone.
Nobody.
No.
Everybody was just interacting.
Yeah.
There was a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
And, I miss those. I really do miss those good times. And really, that's where the love of music came, because I would see my tios, singing, and they would do these like trios and harmonies and beautiful harmonies. And they'd play these old songs. And I would, sometimes I would play with the kids, but I'd also kind of stand to the side, and I would hang out with the adults, and I love watching them, jam out. And
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And when was the first time that they decided to say, "Por canta una canción, Elida"? Or
That didn't happen until I came back here.
Okay.
And the reason why we came back to the Valley was because my grandma got real sick.
Oh, okay.
And, she was getting older, and my dad, he missed my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So we came back to, I was happy with that too, because I was real close to my grandma, Concha, my grandma Consuelo. And she was a very spiritual, beautiful person. She taught me a lot about, the Bible and spirituality and all that good stuff. And, I miss her a lot. I miss her. She instilled some really great,
values
and well, I guess we got here when I was about 8 or 9. First school I went to here was Travis Elementary. And early on, Johnny Canales on Sundays.
Celina y los Dinos, amigos, ahora, no, hombre, qué bárbaro. Han hecho estos muchachos en el último año.
And I would watch it religiously with my parents,
Yeah.
while we were, having my
Aquí
mom would make
Rogelio
Aquí
and-
Rogelio.
yeah.
A esta hora de la mañana, los domingos, a la hora del café, de los tacos de barbacoa con tortilla de harina.
My mom would make an awesome breakfast, tortillas and big old breakfast. And we'd be watching Johnny Canales.
It's
and all that.
crazy because we both grew up watching those shows,
Yeah.
and then we both ended up on those shows.
Yeah.
We had that Puro Tejano in the 90s.
Yes,
You were part
yes,
of
you
the
did.
Sunday mornings, and I
Yeah.
was part of the Sunday mornings, and it was
Yeah.
just something that we grew up with, and
Yeah.
we ended up being a part of, man. How magical is
crazy
that?
is
No,
that?
that's
Oh my gosh,
crazy.
yeah.
It's awesome.
I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean, sometimes if we'd go on Aquí Rogelio, that was very intimidating because he's all, Spanish,
Yeah.
hardcore Spanish speaking.
Professional, I mean,
So I,
Thai and-
yes,
yeah.
and but he was always sweet, and I would stumble over my words, and and I try my best
Yeah.
to speak Spanish.
Buenos días, gusto en saludarlos. Elida, bienvenida al programa de Aquí Rogelio.
Gracias,
Te felicito por este éxito a la canción Te Sigo Amando.
te sigo amando, que está en el nuevo CD compacto que lleva por nombre Algo Entero.
Ok, y además, ¿qué impacto está teniendo esta canción? Pero ¿por qué nos hiciste sufrir tanto tiempo que te tardaste en sacar el material después de tu éxito sensacional de Luna Llena? ¿Cuántos meses fueron? ¿Cuántos años?
Bueno, pues casi fue como un año que hubo unos problemitas con la compañía, pero ya todo está bien.
But I got to work with Rogelio también, que en paz descanse, a radio pioneer here in the Rio Grande Valley. I mean,
For
him
sure.
and Hugo de la Cruz and KGBT, which was an AM radio station that was beating out all the FM stations. It was really interesting because an AM station beating the FM stations. But I got to work with him, and he was real professional,
Yeah.
and all the T's crossed, and I gave him a lot of headaches, I drove him crazy sometimes.
Really?
I mean, he was never the type to really like get mad.
Yeah.
But I made him really mad one time,
Really?
man. But I learned a
¿Quién
lot
lo
from
ve?
him. I learned a lot from
Yeah.
him, and man, he helped out a lot of bands with his program as well
Yeah,
here
he
locally.
sure did.
And so you moved back. Your grandma was kind of she was
sick.
ill, and
Yeah,
you
and-
started going to Travis Elementary.
Yeah, and they had a talent show that year,
Mm-hmm.
and Johnny Canales had also announced that they were looking for new and upcoming artists.
About what year was this? About 88 or
I-
80, 89?
Let me see. How old is Lalo? No, I'm just kidding.
Lalo,
Lalo's like,
Lalo looks like he's a kid. He's like,
well, because I say that because he was 8 years younger. He's
okay.
8 years younger, excuse me, than I am.
Okay.
So we always crack jokes about that. So yeah, it had to have been around the 80s or so. 81, 82, I guess.
Johnny Canales is
Yeah.
going to have a
Johnny
talent
Canales
con-
was going to have a talent show. And so at that time, you know how fame was real big, and I did know Spanish, but at that time, you're like, you're in school,
Yeah.
and you kind of think that kids are going to make fun of you because
Yeah.
it's Spanish music, and
Well, Fame was a movie, a very popular movie,
it was a
right?
very
That's what you're
popular
talking
movie,
about?
and everybody was doing at that time. Everybody was doing like the
She's a maniac or Fame. I
Fame,
want to
I'm gonna-
live
that one.
forever.
I love that song.
Uh-huh.
And so my aunts actually made me a leotard with a homemade leotard because again, we were on a budget. So one of my aunts made me these little warm-ups with made out of, they were socks, but they were expensive. So she
Sí.
just dyed them red and she cut them like warm-ups.
Yeah.
And my mom made me some little braids, and then
Yeah.
my other aunt made me a little tutu with made out of scarves. So she just sewed the scarves together. I mean, everybody just got creative, and then she designed, which is David Benitez's mom, Maddie.
Oh yeah, David.
So yeah,
The,
his mom and
yeah.
his mom's an artist.
Some amazing guitar player,
Yes,
Davey
Razor
Benitez,
Dave.
Razor Dave,
Yes.
and they owned the only drive-in that's
Westmer.
Yeah, Westmer
Drive-in.
Drive-in. I think it's like the only drive-in or
Here in the
one
valley,
of
pretty
two
much.
in the entire
Yeah.
nation. And
Yeah.
it's still working. It's still
Yeah, it's still open.
Está la línea de carros ahí todos los weekends.
I still go sometimes too.
$5 a carload. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So his mom was the one that was
his
helping
mom
out.
and my other aunt Nelda. They're my cousins, but to me they're my aunts because they, I mean, from the get-go, and Midi too, which is Rob's mom, Reyna.
Yeah.
So my mom made me little braids. So that's how I showed up at the Johnny Canales show, and I also did the talent show. And so I remember at the talent show they had the first tryouts, and I made it first. We got first place, but then something happened on the second tryouts, and we didn't even place, which I don't know what happened there, but
La política.
La política. It's because we were so good that they just didn't want us to win.
Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, it is what it is. But that just, like, it just motivated me. It fired me up.
You got
That's what
the
happened.
bug.
Bad.
Hey, this is Rock from Whiskey D, inviting all of you to go to our Whiskey D YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the bell. We've been all over Texas, and we take our video cameras with us, along with Emmy Award-winning Sergio Garcia Films, and he films everything, and we share it all with you. So it's like if y'all are hanging out with us on the road. From El Paso to San Elizario to Arlington, Texas, to Hoka, Bandera, Corpus Christi, Houston, Somerville, Texas, Alice, Texas, and our beloved Rio Grande Valley. We've been everywhere, and we're taking you with us. All you gotta do is go to our Whiskey D YouTube channel and click the subscribe button and hit the little bell. So when we upload something, you get notified immediately, and we upload a lot. The Whiskey D YouTube channel with Whiskey D. WhiskeyDBand.com.